Boom. And there she is. Oh, I'm going to kill you because why? Oh, man.
Well, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Today is officially Monday. It is the last Monday. Hold on. Okay, just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. It really is the last Monday of January. It is January 30th. If your kids started school back on the same day that my kids started school, it's the 100th day of school. So we're having fun celebrations at our schools for that. For us parents, I would say it was 100 days of stress freeness, but that's not true because we still have homework and projects and last minute things, and don't forget to go pick up the kid before the alarm goes off. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Good stuff though. Arthur's excited. I think that he thinks that it's going to be like this huge, like, party. So he's all pumped up about it. Why are you being quiet?
Why am I being quiet?
Yeah.
Because you're yapping. You're talking. Might as well give it to you.
I don't trust this for 1 second. Good morning, Danny. I don't trust this for 1 second. This is what he does. This is what he does. He likes to think that so this is how it started. Something is not right. I agree, Simon. Because first off, he started off with, hey, just go ahead and do your work. Do what you were working on, and I'll do the countdown and blah, blah, blah. And then what happened? I got bamboozled. I got bamboozled and killed, in fact. And so y'all caught me with my mouth wide open, focusing on something. Twice. It's being far too quiet. What's wrong with you? Would you say something?
Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all.
Freaking America out right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. If I'm not freaking out America, I'm freaking out the bad guys. So at least I'm catching two birds with one stone. Because you never know who's in America anymore since the door's open and the floodgates are just flowing in.
Do what you want. Hashtag do what you want.
Do what you want.
So, how was y'all's weekend? I know y'all got tons of rain yesterday.
You kidding me? I live on top of a freaking hill, and now we have water pretty much ready to come into the house. And the neighborhood on top of the freaking hill can't get water down the hill because of our former moron commissioner. He's, matter of fact, they're finding that he's actually taken part in millions upon millions of dollars being kiked out of this side of the county, which happens to have more building permits per day being pulled than the whole state of Arkansas. So you would have thought that this rhino in office would have done something, but thank God we've got Matt Gray. Mr. Matthew Gray came in, and he has got a freaking mess. So
I'm not going to say a word.
Yeah.
You see, this is me being polite.
I'm going to grab it about from Montgomery County right now because that's all I got. That's all I got.
Hold on, because you sent me something, and I'm trying to pull it up because I assumed you sent it because you wanted it shown fairly early on in the show.
Nah, you're fine. Just add it to the thingamabobbers down there, because I can't figure out where the heck I sent it and where it came from.
Oh,
I'm still learning these computer.
See, the thing is that you can't just add a file like what you think. It has to be either slides or it has to be a video. And so, wait, I got you. I got you.
Was I really body snatched? That thing just came up.
Yes.
Good morning, Helen. We said good morning to Danny. There we go. A couple of screens going. Look, I got Mac and I got MS and I got whatever. So it is what it is, dog. You know what I'm saying, yo?
What did you make for breakfast?
You know what I make for breakfast? I made some awesome I made what I usually make for breakfast. Except I actually I baked an egg. Here's the funny part: inside of a Dutch oven, I baked an egg inside of two eggs inside of two big rounds of purple onion. That was sizzled on top of a piece of bacon. So and then of course added with the meat and the rice. That's called ground beef right there. And that is from here local enough where I get my steaks for where I get to see the people that make them. If you see me buying steaks inside of the Kroger or the Kroger for reduced, that's what I do. And I slap them I rewrap them and slap them in the freezer. That way I have something for later because we have a deep freeze. And so if something does happen, then we got proteins.
I like it. Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that discount meat. I do it all the time. It's fantastic. You can't taste it. You can't taste it. Like it doesn't taste weird. That's what I mean.
Ooh, what?
I mean, it doesn't taste weird.
What?
Like when you buy, shut up. when you get like the discount meat at like the Kroger's or the Walmarts or the Sam's Club.
No, they just got to cut. They got to cut it out before the data's up.
You just have to freeze it the same day.
Exactly.
That's it. I enjoyed. You know what? I was getting in touch with my thug roots this morning. I was being. I ate some pops, some corn pops. I was feeling like K-pop.
Corn pop or K-pop? Well, corn's not spelled.
Isn't that what Biden used for his thug name? K-pop or something like that?
K-pop. Is that your relatives that live in Memphis? Is that who you're hanging out with?
No, mine are in Tennessee. Don't you put Memphis off on me? I get to take a lot of blame, but not for Memphis.
Didn't you say yours are in Tennessee? Technically, that's where Memphis is.
I meant Nashville. They're in Nashville. They're just outside of Nashville.
The woke country capital of the world, right there.
Like my family members, like my mom's generation. Let me rephrase that. They went to high school with Charlie Daniels' daughter.
Charlie Daniels' daughter. Yeah.
Fun facts Monday. We do have a lot that we do want to talk about. Of course, the stuff that happened this weekend in Memphis. We want to talk about what happened in San Francisco. On this show, when we're wrong, we say that we're wrong, and when we have to apologize, we apologize. And so I am apologizing to the Pelosi family for making fun of their hammer incident and situation. Paul Pelosi is a feeble-minded old man who got caught in the middle of the night, literally just sleeping. We laid a lot of criticism on what happened and the circumstances around Paul Pelosi being attacked by a hammer. And I should have pulled that video up before I started talking about it. But are you pulling it up, Walter?
Nope. You kidding me? I got the other computer
here?
Working. I don't have a mouse.
What exactly do you do here? Anyway, so if you haven't seen these videos,
I'm fixing to lay it all out for you, Mrs. Thing, since I had to lay it out for you whenever I first saw it. Yeah. Now if you'll notice the rumors going around the circles are that Paul Pelosi was in a love affair with this dude. And anyway, and remember, video is only half of what you see. So
that's true. But the 911
only believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. So we got the 911 call, which if you look at it or if you listen to it, that 911 call, and I think we put I did it on Bacon. I got a hold of of an NBC cut that had in the steps that had happened and had the video. Oh no, that's how I sent it to you in the email. It had the video of the break-in. It had the which could not have been silent, by the way. It had the audio of the 911 call, and then it had the officers responding, knocking on the door, and standing there while Pelosi and this dude had his hand on the hammer. And then at some point, he takes his hand away. Pelosi's hand slips, and the guy comes in and cracks him on the top of the skull. And I mean, that was a death blow. So, and Warren, I'm definitely gonna be with you on that. This actually physically proves one thing. So, first of all,
hold on, I'm trying to. Okay, there it is. Okay, hold on.
Canadian national. This Canadian national was an illegal alien residing in Sanctuary, California. So there's your one hit against Sanctuary, California, and against Nancy Pelosi's amnesty. We have a Canadian that flew to Mexico and crossed from Mexico. Oh yeah, blow that one. Make that big, big, big.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Hold on. Just keep talking though. I mean, it'll.
Well, no, put it on. That's the fun part. Here's the best part. It's in the bottom corner. There you go, right there. Look at that. So here's the dude right here. Now, obviously, the guy ain't naked. He's wearing.
I was going to say he's not naked.
He's wearing. I think he's wearing socks and shoes or loafers or whatnot. He's got a bag, so he came prepared. He's got shorts on. He's got some other kind of crap. Anyway, he's preparing himself. He's getting going. Watch what's happening out here. What people don't realize also is that the Pelosi's house was apparently being painted because the tape was still on the windows. So it was under construction. I'm wondering how much of the under construction there was. Did they actually talk to the construction crew, the contractors? Was there physical security? Because this guy's literally on the porch. And I forget where this is at. I bet this is out in the back or on the side. I don't know where, but I think he's putting gloves on or trying to do something.
Yeah, I think gloves is what my best analysis was. I mean, he doesn't want to cut up his hands.
Here he goes. Hey, look. So here he is right here. He's beating. So at this point in time, the neighbors across the street are going, "Hey, do you hear somebody knocking or maybe trying to break into Paul Pelosi's house?" And it's so bad that the flies, see the flies swarming away from the bushes.
I was trying to figure out what that was. I doubt that's flies.
Those are.
If you think for 1 second that they don't have landscaping and they don't have freaking people that come out and spray their house weekly or monthly or whatever to keep bugs away, you're crazy.
Okay. Well, then I would have also thought they had a good burglary system, but obviously that didn't happen either. And so anyway, and if you'll notice, those were in the leaves, and the flies can come sit on the leaves and whatnot, but they obviously disperse as those things go away. I've actually seen flies in a CCTV camera, TV camera before go off. So I'm going to say those were flies, mosquitoes, or something. Who knows what's going on in San Francisco? And what is that? Was this October? October. It was October in San Francisco. Yeah. So anyway, but bottom line is he gets in, and then Paul Pelosi makes the 911 call.
Okay,
now,
I got
911 it. Call. If you listen to and before you play the 911, hey, hello, I need police. Because it's obvious that he's probably got the phone in one hand and the hammer in the other, and he's been talking to the guy. He's got a dialogue with the guy, but he's still Paul Pelosi. So he's trying to say, "Hey, I'm Paul Pelosi," like everyone should know who he is. And that's where we catch up with the fact that the dispatcher doesn't know who Paul Pelosi is, nor there's nothing flagged in the 911 system for their house, for their address, or for his cell phone. And remember, he's got a previous DUI. So there, whenever his phone rings to 911, the 911 operator in San Francisco who can flag his phone number that, hey, this is an urgent call because his wife happens to be second in line to the president. If the president dies, then she's the number two. I mean, it is what it is, and it was pretty obvious that they had no freaking clue about um, uh, it has no freaking clue about the deal there. So Simon makes the statement he had trouble seeing where they tied together. No, they weren't. So Paul Pelosi was holding the hand with the hammer in one hand, and he had a cell phone in the other whenever the door was picked up. So
Okay, well, hold on. Before we jump to that, hold on. This is the 911 call.
It's a
And
911 call, but what I'm going on is the guy's demeanor is not I'm going to kill you, because he didn't show up with a knife, he didn't show up with a gun. So his demeanor is I really think he was crazy enough to where he thought he was just going to sit down and talk to Nancy Pelosi when he demanded that she come home. And the flip side of this is the rumor is that wasn't he at the Capitol with Nancy Pelosi or with some people in her team maybe whenever she was making that document.
I don't. That's the rumor.
Okay, so that part's a rumor. Hey, it's a lot more fundamental, and keep in mind, San Francisco is located where in the United States? Where's San Francisco located?
Like kind of like the Northwest.
It'd be California on the West Coast. And where's the District of Columbia at?
On the East Coast.
Oh,
like just stop. Let's hear the 911 call.
Hey, so the 911 call, prior to the 911 call, just remember this. This guy traveled to Washington, D.C., and he could not have done it by plane because he was an illegal alien.
That's not true. He totally could have done it by plane. He's already in the United States. They're not checking for citizenship. They're just making sure it's the right person. What's to say he doesn't have a good fake ID? And he's an illegal alien. He totally doesn't even need an ID.
We can't have the system we have here. It just doesn't fly like that. Go ahead and play that 911 call.
Friday, October.
San Francisco Police 74.
2022.
Oh, I guess I called by mistake. What is it?
18 seconds.
This is San Francisco Police. Do you need help?
Oh, well, there's a gentleman here just waiting for my wife to come back. Nancy Pelosi.
02-23
he's just waiting for her to come back, but she's not going to be here for a day, so I guess I'll have to wait.
What's her name?
Okay, do you need police, fire, or medical for anything?
8 seconds.
I don't think so.
Because I don't want to let the guy know that I'm talking to 911.
Okay.
8 seconds.
Is the Capitol Police around?
2:20.
No, this
Hello.
is San
They usually
Francisco.
protect my wife. They're usually here at the house protecting my wife.
No, this is San Francisco Police.
Friday,
I
October.
I understand.
8,
Um,
2022.
Okay, well,
02:24
I don't know, what do you
and
think?
18 seconds.
think everything's good? He thinks everything's good. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good.
Okay. Call us back if you change your mind.
No. This gentleman just came into the house, and he wants to wait here for my wife to come home.
0, 2,
And so,
4 and 48.
anyway, he told me to put the phone down.
Do you know who the person is?
No, I don't know who he is. He has this. He's telling me not to. He's telling me not to do anything.
What is your address, sir?
2:25 and 0.
What is your name?
Seconds.
My name is Paul Pelosi.
He's not inebriated.
Friday.
Anyway, this gentleman says that he thinks everything ought to, he told me to put the phone down and just do what he said.
18 seconds.
Okay?
Okay, what's the gentleman's name?
I don't know about it. What's that? My name's David. The name is David.
Okay, and who is David?
I don't know. What's that? I'm a friend of theirs. Yeah, he says he's a friend, but as I said, I've never.
But you don't know who he is?
No, ma'am.
48 seconds.
Okay.
He's telling me I'm being very leading, so I got to stop talking to you, okay?
25 and
Okay. You sure I can stay on the phone with you just to make sure everything's okay?
No, he wants me to get the hell off the phone.
02-26
Okay.
Okay.
and 08
Thank you.
seconds.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Okay, now hold on. Before you start just ripping this apart, hold on a second. All right, let me have a moment, if I may.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so here's all of the problems with just on the surface value. Let's just surface value this for a second. I'm not digging yet. We have an 80-something-year-old man. It's according to that recording, it's 2:25 in the morning. Okay, so he is 80-something years old. He can sit here. They can be the most powerful couple in America or San Francisco or whatever the hell they want to call themselves till they're blue in the face. He's an 80-something-year-old man who got woken up in the middle of the night by a stranger in his room. Okay, now let's just take off all of the criminal aspects of the Pelosi crime family for 1 second. Any 80-year-old who gets woken up at 2:30 in the morning is going to be confused.
Not
Now,
Chuck Norris.
the police. No, except for Chuck Norris. Except for Chuck Norris. Okay. Okay. All right. Except for Chuck Norris. Now, this guy probably is like, hey, we're going to have a simple conversation. I need you to call your wife so that we can have this conversation. Now, if he is got any of his wits about him at being 80 years old at 2:30 in the morning or 2 o'clock, let's just assume 2 o'clock in the morning when this starts for Paul Pelosi. He's like, well, I'm gonna have to call because she's not home, so I'm gonna have to call the Capitol Police. And George Santos, thank you for that, Simon. I'm gonna have to call the police, the Capitol Police, of course, just the Capitol Police. So now he's probably a little bit more on his self and like thinking ahead, like, okay, like, and this is the fun part for me. This is as a woman who has worked in the bar scene, as a woman who has been in traveled by herself and all this other stuff. You hear all these, or you see all this stuff on Facebook and social media. You know when to watch for cues for stuff. Like Simon said, blink twice if you need help kind of concept. He was literally like, if he would have blinked any harder, his poor little eyeballs would have come out of his head. And this lady was just like, yeah, okay, all right, that sounds good. So, wait, you mean you don't know him? But he says you know him. Okay, well, if you need anything, just call me back, honey.
So
what?
The key indicator is the Capitol Police usually protect my wife. This might be someone important. Paul Pelosi, my wife Nancy. Okay, so now we've named names. Okay, and I don't know who he is. Okay, however, the Capitol Police usually this is San Francisco PD, not the Capitol Police. Okay, you stupid woman. Understood.
I understand that. And also in fairness, now,
hang on. I can't let this guy know because I'm not on speakerphone yet. Whenever he says put it on speaker, I'm not on speakerphone yet. So I'm having a private conversation with what he thinks could possibly be a district director, her personal secretary, something or another that's next to his wife. Yeah. And he's trying to deliberately be vague, which is something that the stupid dispatcher should have picked up on. Because dispatchers in other cities have less clues. As a matter of fact, on this case, this is called a Blues Clues because it came to the thin blue line.
Okay, now part of me still wants to try and give some benefit of the doubt because I'm almost like the patron saint of benefit of the doubt. Okay, so part of me is like, okay, maybe just one more. I'll just give them one more. For some reason, they don't have a flag on the Pelosi residence and phone numbers and addresses.
And they didn't have a flag on Kate Steinle's murderer either whenever they let him go. And then he came up and killed her. And then ultimately a jury of San Francisco acquitted this man of murder.
Agree. You're not wrong. You're still not wrong. But I'm just saying, like, that it's also San Francisco, and they get a lot of crazy phone calls.
It's in the water. Stupid is everywhere, not just the politicians, not just the people that kill people, but it's also in the PD. That's why they let the illegal aliens back on the street. Hence, looking up through the Mexican border almost killed Paul Pelosi with a hammer.
I'm still not saying that you're wrong. I don't like. I always try to like put myself in someone else's shoes for a second.
Actually, Simon, just so you know, pulseless removal.
Pulseless removal. All right, we have one more. Here's the body cam footage. It might be disturbing for some.
Third strike right here.
It's not getting any better. Give us a moment.
Hi, how you doing? Oh yeah. What's going on, man? Everything's good. Hi. Drop the hammer. Nope. Hey. What is going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer on call.
Crap!
Ever 14 ever send backup code 3.
Code 3 backup at 26.
Give me
Did you see the force of that? I don't even put that much into a freaking gutter spike, which are about yay long. Have you ever tried to drive a gutter? They're literally, I mean, yeah, it's like a 16. Some of them are 20 gauge. I mean, man, those are some hefty honkies to push in. However, that guy thought he was busting out a piece of rock when he hit him on the forehead. That was a full force blow. That was a death blow right there.
No, it absolutely was. And so, you know, that watching that body cam footage, that's where I take back all of the satire stuff that we said, because that guy was literally trying to kill him. Now here's
they weren't naked either, so
they also were not naked. You know, Paul didn't have his pants on, but he may not have, because sometimes heck, you get hot when you sleep in pajamas sometimes. I mean, it's a thing. That part doesn't bother me. Here's some of the things that did bother me though. Aside, just let's put on our Blue's Clues cap for just a moment. None of the cameras were synced up. The only thing that has a true pulse line of time is the police recording, and it says that it's 2:25 a.m. If you listen, there's like an annoying beep, and it says like 2:25 a.m. But it'll say like October 28th, 2022, blah blah blah. Okay, but then when you look at if you looked at the video cam footage, I should have sent this to myself, but I didn't. It's okay. Can you tell that it's dark? Can you tell that it's dark? But see, here's where it gets really fun. It says, at first I thought it said 9 a.m. When I sent this to you, I thought it said 9 a.m. It doesn't. It says it's 5 a.m. 5:09 a.m. Right?
9 a.m. Right.
Which is weird, because that's what time the footage says on their cameras that we said that they originally came out and said we're not working. Which that gets odd for me.
Whose cameras?
Here's where it gets more fun.
Whose cameras?
The Pelosi's cameras.
And most people don't have the right time synced up with their cameras.
Simon. Okay, but then the police body cam footage. The police. Hold on. Dang it. The police body cam footage shows that it is in fact 9:30 a.m.
Hang on a second. Where does it say that?
Right there it says T093131 or 3151Z.
What if that's 9 hours of recording, because that's how long he's been on duty for that time frame?
That could be. I just had questions and I don't have consistent answers. That's all I'm saying.
So the body cam not only has the distinct timeline of what clock is in it, it also has its own timer within there as well. And then so you.
I mean, because it has the right date, which is October 28th. Right. Now I hear you saying that the cameras on a lot of people's surveillance stuff is not accurate, but I'm going to have to also disagree with that because my cheap Ring system is an accurate camera and it automatically sets up the time.
Hang on. This is what I'm getting at. Is your Ring camera connected to the internet in any way?
Of course it is.
Okay, then why did somebody at the Speaker of the House's of the Pelosi House's house of the Pelosi House on the West Coast, why did somebody have a hammer going on, which would have alerted sound, which would have alerted some sort of private monitoring system to say, you know how you heard the 911 operator 2:25 a.m. It would have said someone is beating the hell out of the window. Please check the window. So if it was monitored, here's my thing. You don't want to have your stuff on Wi-Fi because it's easier to hack. So you have a closed system, which means all those cameras do only is record. They don't detect. They're not monitored. Which has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard for someone who is even in Congress, much less second in line to the president.
I know. But see, then you also made the statement at the beginning that they were having work done on the house and there was still painters tape up on the windows and stuff like that. So what's to say that they just disarmed it for a little bit, like the sensor, because they hadn't been rehooked up. Maybe they were brand new windows.
October 28th of 2022 is right before, I think it was right before the general election, right? We're going to take back the House and fire Nancy Pelosi. Who's to say that some crazed Hispanic lady from the border who's been saying we're going to fire Nancy Pelosi didn't have something going on? You would have thought that police had somebody in front of the house and you know what? I understand that Paul Pelosi may have some weird fetishes going on, but you know what? The Secret Service will tell you they don't knock the president whenever he's knocking it out, whether it be Bush, Clinton, especially Clinton, Obama. We didn't know what he was knocking either, or Trump. They literally check the room and they leave them alone. Sometimes they're what whoever wants. I mean, if you'll notice, they don't have all the final say. Physically, Donald Trump wanted to go to the Capitol, and what did they tell him? No, that was the Secret Service. So the Capitol Police. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, did I just say Capitol Police? Are these the same people that were in charge of January the 6th, the security for that time frame also?
There's a lot of unanswered questions.
There's a lot of morons. There's a lot of morons in the Capitol Police, and it started on January the 6th, and it almost ended the life of Paul Pelosi on the morning of October 28th. Bottom line.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I get it.
He was
not the policy. Wait a second. It is not the policy of the United States to pay for security for members of Congress's homes, period. The only ones that get any additional protection are like Nancy Pelosi and top echelon, only if necessary, and it's only them, not their family. It is the member's responsibility to protect their own home. That is, if you actually do the research on what job you want, you know that.
Yes, and here's the other kicker. So with that being the case, the Speaker of the House decided it would be okay for a Canadian illegal alien that came across the southern border to come into her house with a hammer and try and bludgeon her husband to death because she left her house unzipped, like Paul Pelosi had his pants unzipped, like Jeffrey Epstein has his pants unzipped on January the 6th with their phony little plot.
There's a lot there.
No, Simon. I don't want to do anything at Kevin McCarthy's house with a hammer because he's probably like giving free labor. But look at the fact. Yeah, but look at the fact. She has no credible idea of security after the big insurrection, quote unquote, debacle that they keep repeating and repeating and repeating.
Yeah.
Tequila, Simon. Tequila. Tequila Mockingbird.
Whatever.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know.
I have something big. I have something big. Here it comes. Here it comes. Bam. Ready? It's something big. It's something huge. It's something fun. What can you do? There you go.
You didn't even finish. You know why? Because I was making mean faces at you. That's why I don't trust you when you have control. A huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget the first and the third Monday of the month. Citizens Grill, 6 p.m. over there in Conroe. Make sure that you're there. It is very sensitive information. We have people with no pants on our on videos. What are you going to do? Also, a huge shout out to our dear friend Justin Watkins and Skyline Companies. Thank you for what you do, supporting Texas Fully Loaded and supporting the American dream. You have got an amazing story. You have an even more amazing business. Thank you for what you do, whether it is logistics or whether it is diesel mechanic work or anything in between. The sky is the limit. That's why you got to call Skyland Companies. See what I did there, Justin? Let them know that Texas Fully Loaded sent you, of course. Oh my gosh, I can't with you people today. If you're interested in having a commercial on Texas Fully Loaded, please contact us and we would love to set you up. If you would like to just support our show, please go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on hashtag We the People Work there towards the bottom. Every single penny goes to fighting for freedom and liberty and all of that jazz and getting the message out and doing the We the People work that needs to be done. Don't forget it's session time in Austin, so expect to see us there frequently. Also, a huge thank you to our dear friends over at TECN.TV. We truly appreciate you, Ken. You're amazing. The work that you're doing, I like to describe it as an apartment complex. Ken has an apartment complex and the most amazing tenants on the planet are living in this apartment complex. So go to TECN.TV, find out more. Pastor Young was on earlier, right before our show, and he was talking about J6, that rebel. Think you know a guy. My favorite part is that he muted himself, by the way.
That was Jeffrey Francis on the East Coast. So from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Don't do it.
Hey, much like the hammer, we're nailing it.
Okay, that's better than I thought you were going to do.
No, not a bit. So, man, but anyway, bottom line is, we have a problem with police in America. This is the white version of it. Let's go to the other side of the coin.
Oh my gosh, that was a terrible transition. But also, okay, let's talk about it. So what?
No, just again, this is nothing but a failure on the federal level from the police, a failure on the federal position of the Speaker of the House and her views on security. I mean, this is why she goes to your Laredo and says, "Oh, such a blessed bunch of people coming across the border, such wonderfulness, and these are God's little children." Yes, the ones with tattoos of MS-13. Yes.
So
And the flip
Literally,
side is,
right this moment, we just had a 6th police officer let go in this case, by the way. So we'll find out more about that, I'm certain. So
you are correct.
I could not with you people. All right, you people. So about a week ago, this is actually absolutely awful. And for full disclaimer, before I even get started, I I thought it said you muted me again. Okay. Before I even get started on this one, like I'm usually 100, yes, you people, I'm usually 100% on the side of the police officers. We're a law enforcement family through and through on both sides of this the coin here. And you're taught to trust the police officers. That it's innately what we teach our kids. If you have a problem, find the police. What happened in Memphis, though, was the absolute furthest thing from that. When we first saw the reports, I think that we all just kind of rolled our. I'll be honest. I know that I just kind of rolled my eyes. I won't even say we all. I know that I just rolled my eyes and thought, "Good God, not another one." But in the same breath, it is what it is, right? We hear about you shouldn't be running from the law, blah 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 blah, and all the way up until the very end of the hour. What was it? Well, like an hour and a half worth of video footage that we watched. I was still there was a couple of questions on my mind, like what the actual what, and then or some things that just seemed a little slippery, if you will. And then the damning footage was actually not from the police cams. Do you know why? Because the police cams, except for when they were running, for some godforsaken reason, were completely blacked out. Interesting. And then you go forward and you hear the verbiage between the cops. You hear Tyree screaming for his mom. You even hear him saying, "I'm doing what you're asking." You hear all of those things, and then you see nothing from the police body cams. The only thing that saved this story and is going to put the bad guys in jail is a night cam or the street post cams. And if you actually go back and you watch those videos and you watch the whole, and you have to look for it, and I'm not going to put it on the show because it is it's pretty graphic what happened to this kid. You're just shocked. Truly shocked. You actually watched three police officers holding him up so that a fourth one can come in and beat the hell out of him with an asp. And then you see two police officers after that. You see two police officers laying on top of him, and another one come running in from down the street to start kicking him. I literally, what in the crap? So for the 5 named officers are Justin Smith, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., Demetrius Haley, and I forgot to pull up the 5th one's name. I had it, but I was looking at some other stuff. And now we just found out that a 6th one is being released. This is just
it's Demetrius Haley 30. Demetrius was previously a Shelby County Corrections Department officer, so with the Sheriff's Department. However, he in 2016, a U.S. District Court of Western Tennessee lawsuit accused Haley of taking part in the beating of an inmate named Cordalia Sledge 8 years ago. Sledge and Haley and another into a sink. After that, I blacked out. Sledge said, blah, blah, blah. Then you have Tadarius Bean. Tadarius Bean is 24 years old. Bean's family was thrilled when he was hired in August of 2020 by the Memphis PD. Everybody was proud of him, said Bean's mom. He previously worked fast food in Mississippi and also worked for AT&T in Memphis, according to his LinkedIn. From 2016 to 2020, Bean studied criminal justice and did an internship with the campus police department, according to his profile. He was on the Ole Miss 2020 commencement list, so he graduated with a Bachelor of Science. Then you have Emmett Martin III, who is 30 years old. Martin was hired by Memphis PD in March of 2018 and described by former Bethel University ever. Martin was a tight end at Bethel University football team. Then you have Desmond Mills Jr., 32 years old. Mills was nicknamed Box when he played football for West Virginia State. He coached between 2009 2010. Mills was popular. He was a popular, hardworking member who played center and offensive guard. I'm not one to be surprised a lot, but when I saw the news, blah, blah. Mills was hired by Memphis Police Department in 2017. His hometown is listed as Hartford, Connecticut, when he was on the 2012 roster. And let me see here. Justin Smith, 28. He was hired by Memphis PD in March of 2018 following Smith was hired by the following 2018 following his arrest. Smith posted a $250,000 bond and was released. And then the other one we now have a white officer who the number 6 is a white officer, Preston Hemphill, and he also was hired in 2018. So right now they're saying 6 years or whatnot, and then we have, I believe, 3 or is it 2 corrections officers. So people that should have known or that have physically used force. You have football players, so you have use of force, you have physically one single person there that was, physically cut. But anyway, these guys there were bottom line, they had a goal, they had a purpose. They were the Scorpion unit. So they had a cool name. I bet they had like scorpion tattoos and stuff, And
Oh, no doubt.
And they don't. The white police officer, I think, is going to be the one pull over whenever they were beating him with the taser at the street light that he was pulled. He was literally pulled over like in the left-hand turn lane of wherever he was going. So
this is just, talk about, except now here there's so much to unpack on what happened to Tyree. More questions than I think we'll have answers, especially with, at this stage of everything. But let's be superficial on some of this information. First of all, why in the world were they, from the footage that I saw at the first stop, I didn't see where anything was necessary for them to yank him out of the car and to start doing what they did to him. None of them, if you look, like I've watched more, thanks to all of the men in my lives, I've watched more episodes of Cops than I've ever wanted to, or Cops-like videos. They're usually, you can tell that there's some urgency when there's an officer in distress. You can tell that there's some urgency, pretty much in any time that they've got their lights on and they know that they're trying to find somebody who's could be a threat or a menace to society. I didn't notice any of that in any of these videos. In fact, it seemed like it was kind of quite the opposite. Nora, I'm not going to say that you're wrong at all, but here's going to be the biggest problem. Here is the biggest problem. Is that what this is going to do is immediately, guess what's already being called for? Congress to do more about law enforcement. Congress to do more about local law enforcement. Show of hands. Just
in Congress that was just run by the lady.
Oh, hold on. Let me address this really quick. Warren, first of all, only 2 of them were hired after they lowered the standards. Now, most police forces are requiring a 4-year degree at the minimum. Most of the cops that Walter just read off already had a 4-year degree and played football and everything else. So these are supposed to be stellar members of society. So I don't know what exactly lowering the threshold of looked like in Memphis, but it certainly was not. It's not like they were just taking people without a GED. Walter's frozen, so I'm gonna get to railroad this for a second. So we have. Oh, there he is. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I figured out what it was whenever I'm using more than one
What?
device. Anyway,
Oh,
so bottom line is specifically created 2 years ago. So they may have been on duty for 4 years or for up to 5 or 6 years, but this whole thing was created 2 years ago. Come on, it was 2020. It was created. We just ended 2022, so it was under 2.5 years old. How about that?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, absolutely. And so, we're watching this stuff unfold. We're getting into the nitty gritty of it. For those who don't know, Scorpion Unit was something the Memphis Police Department did with good intentions. Now, I don't know what the character of the people of this unit were, but it was called the Street Crimes Operation to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods. Now, we're a long way from having Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, be the police officer on your neighborhood.
Speaking of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, 4 days prior to the Tyree's stop, there's a man named Cornell McKinney, and he told the local news channel WREG in Memphis that he was pulled over with a friend by the Scorpion Unit. He said he was pulled forcefully from the car, found not to be in possession of drugs. Dum, 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 dum. 4 days prior.
I'm just saying, I feel like that unit specifically, where its name sounds like it's going to be the ones that you go have coffee with a cop with, that's not the.
They had to have.
That was not the intention.
They had to have a really cool, logo, probably a tactical patch that they could put on their uniform and stuff. So whenever they put all that crap in their, and they look like they're all militarized, that kind of thing.
I'm sorry, they all looked like they were wearing sweatpants and sweatshirts.
Yo, come on now. They had them things that come over, the tactical vestises and stuff. It was all, stuff in, and they had other stuff, but cool hoodies.
There was only a handful of them that actually were in uniforms. And I get it. There's a lot of like undercover units and things like that wear more street kind of clothes. And I'm with you. I'm with you. You're correct. James, Mr. Lopez, he's here in Laredo. He said, if you have dirty cops at the FBI, you will also have dirty cops at the local level, especially if they were hired through politics. That's why hiring should be done through civil services and collective bargaining.
Hey, hang on. I got something big. We're on the Scorpion, right? We're on the Scorpion.
We're still on Scorpion.
Okay, so physically the name Scorpion stands for Street Crimes Operation. We're going to restore peace by whooping your ass. Get out of the car.
It was a matter of time. I tried to keep it off as long as we could. I'm so sorry, y'all. If I were to go out on a limb, and this is a far-reaching limb, I'm going to say that the Memphis Police Department is going to come back and say, you know what, this doesn't speak to the character of our officers, and I firmly believe that it does not speak to the character of most of the officers that are there. They're going to say this is not in our training, and there's going to be some officers who have sat there quietly waiting for their pension because something has gone awry. Simon made the statement that police are tired. A lot of people have been demonizing them for years. Eventually, they're going to be fed up. That would be, y'all have seen my little Alexander come on this show. And I say little because he's scrawny. He's scrappy. He can blow a punch. He's all muscle, but he's tiny. This Tyree was quite smallish. That would be like 6 Walters taking on an Alex.
Actually, Tyree was my size and height.
Well, a height, but he was Alexander's width.
If you've ever seen how tall I am, physically, this guy was half my size. in because he had Crohn's disease.
Yeah, because he's 145. Yeah.
145 pounds, 6'3". This guy was a buck oh nothing. So here's the kicker on that one was, in the policing and what was going on, these guys totally were into it with the mob. They physically gave 71 commands inside of 13 minutes. Any of those orders, whenever they said, "Show us your hands," they had their hands on his hands. They were controlling his arms.
The whole entire
the needing for him to flip over, get on his back. Remember, the guy was right there, legs over him. Because if it had been me, I'd have whooped up, and those guys don't wear a cup. I'd have smacked me a set of nuts, and I'd have let that guy come down, and he could have come down and met Jesus with me. That's what would have happened. Brought him to the ground.
he was
145 pounds. Literally, the guy's thigh was. And that being said, he's very quick to run. Every one of these guys started running, their adrenaline was up, and that's whenever you've got to when the adrenaline happens, it's called tunnel vision. It comes in, and you put everything out to the side. So these guys are focusing on that guy. Every now and then, what are they seeing? They're seeing this stuff happen right here. They're seeing the hits going on. So what are they in? They're in a melee. They don't know when to quit. Here's the best part of it: they were spraying the hell out of each other with chemical spray. It was like, hey, Banaka, hey, open up. Let's do some stuff there. Everyone's got drink flying. They got chem spray flying. The taser, holy crap. You know what? Thank God he didn't shoot him at that point in time. I mean, because they would have dropped the whole thing right there. And remember.
Well, they were being so careless, they would have probably shot each other.
Well, no, they probably would have shot the old lady sitting at the street light before, in her car.
Here was the thing, when the two body cam footages that were released you see the one running all the way until right before he gets there, and then it just goes dark. And when we first watched it, you made the statement that you're like, oh, it's raining, that's why it's all blurry and you can't hardly see anything. And then we're like, no, it's not. They're covering that crap up. And then when you listen to them talking to each other, they're like, yeah, man, he was definitely on something. Like, yeah, absolutely, that dude was on something. Like, you could hear them physically making their cover-up story as they were doing it, just to cover their asses in case something happened.
Did you see what happened? I hit him with a haymaker. You know what a haymaker is? That's a boxing term. That's literally a force that you put. We're talking, you twist all the way back, and bam. And did you see it? You saw it on the video, and it took me going back to the video because I scrolled through it, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, they were a little excessive on the use of force. But he was definitely on something. He had to be. You
made this specific statement that the one guy used a boxing term, or did a boxing move, and immediately I said, then he knew better.
Whooped his ass. Did you see what we did? I mean, the language was literally right after a scrap fight in a gang. I mean, these guys weren't cops at that time.
That was the hood rat fight.
These guys were, but you know what? The white supremacy in the hood is what develops this out.
Now, here's where it does get bad. This is where it gets bad, because now, so there was, if you watch the stuff on, which that's where you find the raw footages of stuff, like, because the news isn't showing it, whatever. So if you go to YouTube or whatever, that's where we found the raw footage of what happens to Tyree and all of it together. And then you have like the automatic videos that play after it or whatever. And one of them was this very yuppie black guy who, he looks very philosophical, and he goes on and he starts talking to the reporter, because the reporter starts talking to him, and he's like, well, hey, what do you think that this is going to prove? Like, why do you think that this is something that how can you stand here and say that this is racist? How can you stand here and say that this is that this was a racist situation when all of the cops were black? Wouldn't this be considered black on black violence then? And the guy very, very, very reflectively, very philosophically, very like not losing his crap kind of speech was, no, I don't. And this is the problem. police were initially a racist institution. Hear me out. And he goes on, and he goes, hear me out. When the police were first brought in this country, when they first were put together, it was to catch the runaway slaves. They were immediately looking for black people. It gets better. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do. But I need you to hear it, because there's much sarcasm in my tone, but I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to show you what he was like. And this is why this is important. So then he goes, anybody who puts on a badge is immediately a racist and wants to hurt black people, because even if they would never consider themselves a racist, they are in fact part of a racist institution known as the police department. So immediately, whether they like it or not, they put on a badge, they are now a racist, and they're targeting black people, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of if they've ever even made a bad joke before. And I'm listening to this, and I'm like, this is the actual indoctrination. This is an indoctrination, folks. This is what these people are being taught. This is what they're being told to consume. I mean, he wasn't in an argumentative state when he said this. He wasn't in a, I have to prove to you. No. He was very passionate and this is what people are understanding. This is why we feel this way. And he goes on and he said, there's no such thing as black on black crime. It's called community crime. Because there are neighborhoods of rich black people. And they don't have these situations where people are scrounging for basic life necessities. If you go to Georgetown, you're not going to see a whole bunch of police officers. Why? Because they all have basic life necessities. The only problems they have is when somebody from a lower income level breaks into their homes. So now what you're trying to make me believe as a not wealthy black person is that because I am black, I have to act this way because I'm a black person? He's like, that doesn't make any sense either. You mean to tell me because they're rich, they have more common sense than those of us that are poor? That's not it either. And I ended up quit watching it because I had to leave. But if you know what, Bob, I thought the same thing. I did. But then when you stop and you look backwards, like I'm defending both sides. I am going to play Switzerland in this conversation. I literally live right on the threshold of growing up in poverty. Like my dad did well, but we live right in my house that I grew up is now Section 8 housing. Everybody that worked at the same place that I worked at lived in the projects. Like I can see all sides of this. Like I can in that conversation. But the problem is that, okay, let's play his game for a second. Let's go down that rabbit trail for a second. You're right. Innately, I don't think that that's it. But so you're telling me that because I'm poor, I have to behave that way. You're right. Let's not make this a black on black crime. Let's not make this a white on black crime. Let's not make this a white on white crime. Let's make this a status crime. Because that's the argument that he was giving. Now, of course, this was literally right as all of this stuff was coming out. We know way more today than when that statement was made 72 hours ago. But the problem is that the mentality of the people have not changed in that. And I don't mean that in a black mentality. I don't mean that in a white mentality. I mean that in when was the last time that you drove through a not great neighborhood because it's considered the projects or Section 8 housing, you lock your door, you clutch your pearls, and you slam on the gas? How many times has Walter told me, do not stop in this area of Houston because you're going to get your little white butt killed? All of the time. Because when I was a teenager, I used to drive into project housing with the gangs every single day, by myself, all of the time. And I was never once messed with. Not one time. Now, is it a community crime or is this a person crime? Because this sounds to me like it's a person crime. Worse yet, this specific instance is neither. It's not a community crime. It's not a black crime. It's a 6 officers who thought that they were going to prove themselves crime. They just wanted to kick somebody's butt.
So
His mother called it a blue on black crime.
yeah, well, here's a kicker on that one. So confusing orders
That makes
is what
it
this
worse.
was about. Confusing orders is what this was about. The footage shows in the very beginning. This has nothing to do with institutionalism, anything. This Scorpion unit trained together. They're a band of brothers. They trained together. They were all hanging out, high-fiving at the end of it. At the beginning, driving up to the intersection where Nicholas's car had been boxed in by 2, one in front, one in back, unmarked police vehicles. That officer jumps out with his firearm drawn. One officer pulls Nichols out of his car, and all 3 immediately start screaming on the ground. Okay, those are the first orders. On the ground from everybody, right? Okay. Now, where's he from? Let's start talking about Tyree, California. He's 29 years old, so he was most possibly a baby when the Rodney King, whenever the police, sat there and beat Rodney King all night long. Basically, exactly like how this guy got stopped. And they literally come out. They're like, "Hey, out of the car, on the ground." They're giving confusing commands. Nichols had to literally say on the ground. He's like, "I'm sitting on the ground." He get on the ground, and then the other one says, "I'm going to tase your ass." Okay, I'm on. What ground are you talking about? Do I need to get over on the curb? Do I need to get on the ground? All this kind of stuff. So we heard the story from the other guys that were pulled from their car. This is normal police behavior in Memphis with this unit here. And if this is the first time that the black police chief, has heard about this, then she has a failure of command all the way down her chain of command.
Now, and that brings up a good point. Now, here's going to be the other side. So I made the statement at the beginning of this. I said, there are a lot of, I guarantee you, good, hardworking, honest, amazing police officers in the city of Memphis, Tennessee. Guarantee it. But there's also 1 or 2 that have seen that behavior and said, "You know what? I said something and they didn't do anything about it. I told them, hey, y'all need to settle down." And they thought that they at least did something. Because in these toxic men environments, what happens is it's like, hey, like, nobody wants to be, cover your ears, nobody wants to be the bitch, but somebody's got to say something. And what's going to happen? They're going to tell them to sit down and shut up or mind your own business. You don't know what you're talking about. It happens all of the time. Sorry, Simon. I know I just had my first strike of the day. But that's what's going to end up happening. Somebody reported it. Somebody said, hey, this unit is doing too much. Well, and nobody did anything about it. And I'm sorry. I don't know the character of the chief of police in Memphis, Tennessee. We do know that she is a black woman chief, presumably one of the first. And so could that be a reason why she had her status? Because we have to promote the minorities and not her work ethic, not her. I don't know. And I'm not saying that to be dismissive of her career, but we are seeing all too often in all sorts of places that is a requirement. But you have to be a person of color. You have to be a minority. You have to be a woman. A dear friend of ours down in the valley, she's a brilliant woman, absolutely gorgeously brilliant woman. But she's like, oh yeah, I always make sure that all this stuff is put on there because I'm a Hispanic woman and I own a business, especially a business in a man's industry. Like I get way more benefits. It's a problem.
And what are the facts in the case still? Before we ever leave one scene and rush to the other one, where everyone went crazy on the first scene, what does he do? what does Tyree Nichols do in the video? You can physically see him say, "You're really doing a lot right now." Okay. He says, "I'm just trying to go home." He pleads with them.
Yeah.
He's a thug because he pleads with them. Now here's the big piece right there. He's used to this type of activity because of where he's from in Sacramento, because of where he's at in Memphis, Tennessee. He knows about the Scorpion unit, and you can't tell me he didn't know that.
No, agreed.
Indicated guess on my part. However, the bottom line is, he knew something bigger was going on because of who was around him there. And at that time, I think you had the one officer. Remember, he's down on the ground, or he's sitting down. Then they're trying to force him down, and then they physically tell him, on your stomach. And so he's trying to reposition himself, and then they shoot him with chemical spray while they have the taser on his leg. So, I mean, it's you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But keep this in mind. He's 145 pounds. 8-year-old. That's if you've ever had to run lightning like those of us who've been trained with tasers, those with the chemical spray. Because I've been with the privates, suggestions, and all the little things that we did for war. The whole thing is designed to disorient and to confuse you, and that is why gas chamber, continue to the wall. They look at face up while you're choking you, and they make you tell you your name and the last 4 of your social. And if you can do that, you get a leave. Now, 9 times out of 10, they wait till, before someone almost dies, we would let them out. This is the military. So think about that. It's hard enough to spit out what daily activities that you constantly always do. Now you're sitting on the ground under force of getting beat. You've got the taser out. You've been punched, pummeled, everything else. This guy was like, you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to renew myself. I had a similar situation like this with well over 15 years ago, maybe. Yep. Well, close to 15 years ago. And I was just a crazy war veteran who was just trying to get rid of somebody's stray dogs in my house that had wandered in the middle of a spring. And the police physically know all 3 of them now, but the police officers that were there, to include the justice of the peace that was there, when we had our little AAR or after action review, they were I ran. I'm like, I ran because I was able to get away, let you guys take a break. There was a whole field of view. I had one of the police officers walk up to me, and you know what he said? He said, "Put the shotgun down. I'm not going to hurt you," in a calm voice from behind me, recognizing that I was an active duty soldier at home at the time. And this is whenever my oldest was a baby. And there was a huge misunderstanding because the dumbass dispatcher decided to say the wrong. She decided to interpret on her own. Never at any part of that was that ever part of the record or part of the case. And I think what ultimately may have gotten her fired was the fact that in her parting statement, she forgot what was recorded. And in the recording statement, it was totally contrary to what was her description of what happened. And my job was to defend myself against 3 police officers and the justice of the peace that was trying to kill me at the time. Shook hands later. I even campaigned for 2 of those individuals at one point. Pretty weird that would be the behavior after the fact.
Wow, I didn't know that story. Interesting. Wow. But you know what? To go back to Paul Pelosi's story, more reasons, like dispatchers either get tons of praise or they get no recognition or they get crapped on. And the same that we're seeing here. What does their training look like? Because they deal with a lot of crazy crap on the phone. Sometimes there's someone's very last voice that they hear. Sometimes there's someone's whatever. But at the end of the day, they still have to be just as accountable as the police officer on the scene.
They
as the medic on the scene.
They adhere to the manual. There's a manual that's printed up. Okay.
Okay.
They're certified.
Well, that's why everything is so scripted.
by this manual. And all of this stuff is A, B, C, D, E, possibly questions. There's a line level. You cannot fail this stuff. It's literally
Right.
mostly written on an 8th grade reading level.
It
You
takes
have to
away.
follow the lines. This is what happens
Yep.
with these police officers also, specifically these police officers. They came in, they had a certain standard, and they met that certain standard. And then from there, your department has to grow those individuals. How in the hell can you grow 2 guys that just came in 2 years ago and they're on a specialty squad? They were on the specialty squad because they were big. They were friends of these guys. They were obviously recommended. So now you need to ask yourself, the squad, what was the purpose of this Scorpion squad? How do you get on it? What is the required continuing education? Because that's the number one thing that everybody hates right now is continuing education. I'm almost willing to bet that these guys had racial sensitivity. How America, but how to be black in America, because that's what the DOJ's training puts out. That's what the FBI Academy puts out. Anybody in leadership in most police departments, where do they go? They go to Quantico. Oh, yeah, that's right. The FBI Academy. Everybody loves those certificates put up on their wall. Command staff
so
this,
pretty.
command staff that. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to federalize the police departments. And so this is the kind of actions you get. Right now, the by the FBI, who's now investigating the case. The same people who put Ray Epps in at the Capitol. The same people who physically took out the here, hang on a second, let me do this real quick. Hey, you caught me live on the air. Go to texasfullyloaded.com. You can see us live and in person, or I'll call you back. Anyway, I love that.
Okay.
I'm physically online almost all the time. How about a selfie? Anyway, so here's the kicker there. Simon, did you hang on. Some of us are quicker. My connection is very bad. He's only getting 90% of what I'm saying. Okay, I'll try and.
Well, because part of his stuff is underwater.
Oh yeah, well, it doesn't. If I'm not communicating, I'm not communicating.
No, but I mean, I can hear you. He's just letting you know. Like sometimes it gets a little wonky.
Okay. Well, no, the the feds are the ones putting down a federal standard as opposed to training on a local level. This is why when DC came to South Texas, this is why when DC came to South Texas and said, this is how you need to run for office. This is why it did. I mean, Laredo, nobody could believe that the Laredo police, here's the best part. The Laredo Police Department was raiding people's homes because they were doing nails on Facebook during the COVID shutdown.
In fairness, it's the same police department that said that my First Amendment rights were not being violated by them. I have that on a letter documentation.
Again, because they follow policies and not the constitutional beliefs. And you don't want to have people free thinking all the time. You want them to have a standard. No. But when the standard is the low threshold of standard, bam, here you go. What's the number one thing we see with police these days? Let me make up a TikTok really quick. Never mind, there's 3 kids that have been kidnapped. I've got 2 robberies on hold. I'm in the middle of a stop, a traffic stop. But let me get on to do a TikTok real quick for all my people. Yeah, I'm gonna make a TikTok. Hey, you know what I need to do? I need to go down to the school because we need to get enforced. We need to get off the streets. We need to hand out backpacks and teddy bears. That's what we need to do because it's a softer part of policing. It brings us popularity.
Yep.
This totally killed your popularity, people. Now no one likes the police. Hey, you know what? It's white supremacy. Let's go down to Laredo because you know what they're going to say? Oh, it was the white man. Okay. And what are they going to do? Because down there's not a lot of white men in those departments down there. But it's white supremacy. Memphis, holy crap. The first white person was removed today or was placed on restriction or whatever this Hemp Hill guy was. He's Caucasian, and I think he's probably the one that was initially at the traffic stop. But how do you kick out the first 5 black guys and not put the white guy in there with it if you're going to sit there and scream white supremacy?
From the analytical side point, from what we saw, he was just cleaning off, because this is all we could see. He was looking for his glasses. He was cleaning off. That's not true. He also had he was the one that had the taser pulled at him at the stoplight. But we don't know what happened before that from the video footage that has been released. And then in the video footage of from the just the street camera that was there at the street, where the street light camera, let me rephrase that, over there on Bear Creek, he was standing off to the side. So he wasn't touching, he wasn't talking, he was just over on the side, just kind of being lookout, I guess, maybe looking for the angel. I don't know. So it may have taken a little bit longer, but I don't know. Part of this is when the George Floyd thing happened, I actually lost a dear friend. She quit talking to me because I was still saying, hey, this isn't what police officers do. I was still saying, I don't know what she wanted from me, but I wasn't doing enough, apparently. Even though I was siding with George Floyd's people, I wasn't talking trash about him. I was talking trash about the movement because all they did was start burning down cities. I had a real problem with that. But I didn't have a problem with them saying that the way the police officers handled it was wrong, because the way the police officers handled it was wrong. There was no two ways about it. Every police officer that I spoke to, regardless of what, this is hysterical. Somebody else is saying that our stuff is being sensitive. That's fun. I guess we haven't lost our following, Walter, of the haters. But it's fine, because this is stuff that has to be talked about. And so we're the ones to do it. Anyway, she said, Sandra, here's the thing. You'll never understand what it's like to have to tell your black son, you have to follow all of their orders and pray that you get out of that stop. And her son is a good son, a very fine young man. Sweetest, biggest heart of any kid I've ever seen in my life. I have to go grab that phone, Simon. I'll do it in just a second. The sweetest heart of anything I've ever met. And yet she said, you won't know what it's like to do that. You'll never know. And then my cousin that's up there in DC, her husband's black, their son is mixed, and she told me the same thing. You'll never know. And I said, that's not true. These are I don't know if they know this or not, but my kids are not white. They're not. My kids are not white. These are conversations that are having to be had. But in the same breath, I don't even have a same breath anymore. I was going to say, we don't put our kids in those types. We're raising our children not to be in these types of situations. I don't know why they initially pulled him over. But I do know is that he was following the rules, and he was complying, and they still killed him ultimately. And I don't think that has anything to do with anything other than they were terrible police officers, because these were black men who did this to them. Those are my thoughts. We do need to take a commercial break. I thought you were going to do it. It's a rough transition, but this sorry, you hit the wrong video. That's the opening video for a reason. Okay.
You should have known it. You should have known it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let
me really quick
do our sponsor shout out.
Before we get on to our sponsor shout out, I would like to rub a little bit of preparation. Apparently the sensitivity level of this show right here is far worse than actually playing the kid getting beat down like the freaking mainstream media is, like the mainstream media Facebook pages are doing, like the mainstream media YouTubes are doing. Oh, by the way, they're even saying F the police. I mean, they're putting all that stuff out. I don't know if there's anybody that are burning cars, windows, or buildings yet.
So we
haven't decided to do any of that either.
It was over the Paul Pelosi video.
Oh, you mean the same video that we got off the internet, that we got off of Facebook, that we got off of YouTube, that we got off of Twitter?
And
And
I
then-
even made sure that I left it up where it had the disclosure that this could be graphic and violent for some viewers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this right here, this is what Facebook does. That actually tried to take the personal cell phone of Miss Cassandra, who now works for Defiance Press, back in 2017, and stalled her First Amendment rights, as well as her Fourth Amendment rights that were violated by the same private company that is offering a piece of this on their platform.
For the record, it was not the Cassandra that y'all were thinking when he said that.
Cassandra Spencer?
Yeah, you didn't say Spencer. You just said Cassandra that works for Defiant Press. And since, they have a love affair with Ted Cruz, I didn't want there to be any misconstrues. It's because
Anyway. She that shall not be censored.
Yes, Simon. I did have there was a fun heart-to-heart moment. We don't watch the NFL anymore, but there was a good heart-to-heart moment. I'll share it for women on Wednesday, though. Y'all are gonna have to wait till Wednesday. Just let it sit on your tongue.
Wow.
Sorry,
Women
you're not
on
girl
Wednesday.
enough for that.
Women on Wednesday. Actually, there's
I know you're gonna jump in anyway. Stop.
because it's
Stop. Wait,
Wow.
Santos is giving speeches on the House floor.
Yes. Hey, everybody.
Seditious. Saucy. Salacious. Stephanic. Scammer. Santos.
So I was just so it was my freaking Fox News alert that gave me that. So I thought they were going to have the video right there, but they didn't. It was instead a gut-filled interview of them slamming George Santos again. So okay, if you haven't done it yet, I need you guys to go to YouTube and put in George Santos. What was it, George Santos late night or something like that?
Oh,
Absolutely
Lord.
hysterical. Even the people that we can't stand.
John Lovitz comes out of retirement as that's it. I wasn't I made $50,000, but I'm able to squeeze $700,000 out of it. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, for those of us who remember John Lovitz.
There was like all of the ones that we love to hate, like Jimmy Kimmel and all. They were fantastic. I couldn't stop laughing. It made me fall in love with them all over again.
Well, George Santos is kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
Is the gift that keeps on giving. So let me tell you about what's happening with George Santos today. And today's Santos scandal moment. So the Department of Justice is now asking the Federal Elections Commission to hold off on any enforcement actions because they're still doing criminal probes into him.
Oh.
We all missed that, and I'm not sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Yep.
We'll just leave it there.
Right now,
Big Brother censored probably at the right moment.
Right now, the DOJ is probing George Santos in that situation in the manner that they should be. And it is to protect the American people. I'm just hoping they're using gloved hands.
Simon, you're my favorite person on this planet. No, so I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. He's going to, one of the reasons that they are investigating him, I had to stop myself from using their own words, was that he bragged about being over top of this $1.5 billion hedge fund company. that the only thing that they're fighting is scandal on. And it just smells like illegal activities. And so since he's bragged,
so they're probing into what he was on top of when it comes to the hedgehog.
Miss Maddie, do something. Yes.
You know what?
You can't make this stuff up.
But his actually on being on top, George Santos, that is, his best action right now is when he gets on elevators, because he apparently likes to go all the way to the top. If the media would just know how to get in front of that, then every time the door opens on their way up, they would be able to get a statement, or at least a fun look.
Oh, it would definitely be a fun look. I'm certain of that. Probably something that there's not enough scotch in the country to wash that image out. Yeah, it's y'all need to YouTube George Santos late night. It is 100% worth it. You will laugh until you cry. I know I did.
And just watch them all, because these are skits.
Yeah, they're skits from all sorts of different ones.
Oh, that's, you know what? And I even forgot Jimmy Kimmel. He's actually lost weight, because last time I saw him, I thought he was a little bit pudgy. This time he looks pretty darn good. I was like, dadgummit, that guy's he's cleaned himself up a little bit. He's not as chunky as late night would have you would have thought would have allowed.
He's very Metro now.
Well, I thought it was funny. So.
He was not Metro when he was on the Man Show, and he was relatable to men everywhere. Now he's Metro because he has to be relatable to the new men everywhere.
Kind of men that give old George Santos millions of dollars, because he's going to make America great
and they
again.
like it.
Make America drag again. No.
WTF comparison of George. Oh, this is funny. Hold on a second. I was trying to find the video of him giving a speech in the House, but instead, Kevin McCarthy appeared to wish Sunday that serial liar George Santos had more power than Joe Biden. This is from Yahoo News. McCarthy made the odd suggestion in response to a rhetorical question posed by Fox News host Mark Levine on Life, Liberty, and Levine. Who has more power, Joe Biden or George Santos? Levine asks. McCarthy, replying with a laugh, says, well, right now, I think it's the President Joe Biden, unfortunately. Hold on. Hold on. We should all watch this together. Here's your Santos.
It's Santos segment. Here we are, guys.
But yet it's our favorite person, Kevin McCarthy. Are y'all ready?
Kevin, go KM.
Mr. Speaker, first a very quick question. Who has more power, Joe Biden or George Santos?
Well, right now I think it is the president, Joe Biden, unfortunately.
So how much?
How does that make you feel, okay?
Well, I'm hoping President Biden's got more power than George Santos.
Kevin McCarthy he's still defending him. Not even just defending, he's protecting him. He is so afraid of losing his majority that he is protecting George Santos.
So here's the problem, though, Sandra. We don't need that to lead the news right now. You know what needs to lead the news?
Please tell me.
Well, we have found out what the cure is, but we didn't.
The cure?
We didn't take the appropriate actions. Hashtag 2 more years of the coronavirus. Hello.
How could we not talk about that?
I know. Harmeet got beat. And why? Because we need 2 more years of much the same. So now we've got 4 cycles of coronavirus. And where is coronavirus running out of? DC. the initial talk and the initial plan was to do what? Was to possibly pull the RNC out of the Beltway, out of where all the lobbyists are, and actually come to mainstream America. But no, we couldn't do that because Harmeet was seen as a California version of the RNC when we've had the Utah Uncle Romney version of coronavirus for the past several years.
Hey, now, Walter, you need to be fair and quit spitting out all this truth. She won it by the very people who only care about titles in the first place.
Well, I'll have to say I am proud of the Republican Party of Texas. 2 of our 3 voted, and I don't know how Tony Indeshiel voted. I know she's friends with both of them, but I also know that she had a situation in her life where she was not able to physically see what was really going on around the state. But
fair.
Matt Rinaldi and Robin Armstrong both they took the letter of the SREC and they had to vote for, because Texas said we are not going to vote. I think there was only 2 states that did not give, states that went through the proper process of creating a resolution that they would not support Ron McDaniel, the coronavirus. So,
well, there's that. That gives me some hope for the Texas GOP.
Yeah, and that actually, well, not really. So that actually should be the first deafening blow for the Republican Party of Texas that we're getting the RNC out. And this is at a time when we need the RNC the most. And this physically should be no more money is going out of state. Support the candidate within that you support. And if you support another moron, like we have in several of these takes, several of these congressional takes, you'll notice we have Tony Gonzalez on the border is the only one who is against securing the border. Physically, the only Republican in Texas that is against securing the border. How could this be? How could this be? Well, it could be for this one reason right here. We've had so many people that accidentally made it into Congress through the manipulation of the people of the establishment, the RNC, the Karl Roves of the world, I mean, even President Trump came in and whatever his movement is to support half these people with us. We saw there was five people stuck with no McCarthy all the way through. 5 people.
If I'd have been there, it would have been 6.
No, it was down to 5. I mean, ultimately there was 20, but as their concessions
I was there.
Well,
there would have been 6.
Yeah, there would have been 6.
Oh wait, hold on. So I had to get up because I kind of pay attention to what happens on my quiet street, and all of a sudden I heard a song that is very uncharacteristic to be heard blaring outside. And in fact, it was the FedEx guy who was playing a very unique song. It's not a unique song that I've never heard before. It's one I usually hear coming from Manny's phone, which made it even funnier. But instead it was the FedEx guy, which is just shocking. But he had it so loud I could hear it inside of the house with my headphones on. Yes, Miss Patty. Yes, in fact, he will be, because if you remember correctly, Rana's next move was to do the LGBTQ plus reach out centers instead of the Hispanic outreach centers, since those didn't work out. Now we're going to be doing I don't know the name of the song. I just know how it goes, and the only part that I know is not appropriate to sing on the air, Simon.
Just
okay, hold on. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I'm a mother PIMP. I don't know the name of the song, but you know it, Simon. But I'm right. You know what I'm singing, right, Simon? Or saying. I didn't sing it. The best part is Walter's old, so he doesn't know it.
Yeah. And
neither does Miss Patty, so Simon, you and I won't get yelled at.
Ooh, Miss Patty, she called you old.
I didn't say it. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's exactly exactly what song it was, Simon. I used to have the album.
MP.
I actually used to have that album.
I bet you did
Because
have
I'm
that
a mother,
album.
VIMP.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the
That
Lord,
was
Lord,
literally like,
Lord.
at first I thought I was crazy or that it was just playing in my headphones. That's why I took my AirPod out. First I was like, I don't have that song on any of my digital stuff. I wasn't being gangster the last couple of days. Hold on a minute. Because sometimes, like, this is real.
Hang on a second. I missed this whole thing. You're saying the UPS man had this playing on his phone while he was outside your door? FedEx guy?
No, no, this is even funnier. He was all the way at the end of the street. Well, I say all the way. You know how big my street is. He was at the end of the street.
And you heard him on this
Yeah.
is a ringer on his phone, or was it in his van or something?
I guess it's his radio.
Oh, okay.
They have radios inside their vehicles. I don't know if anyone's told you this before.
Well, actually, that's there's a lot of companies like FedEx that don't allow radios anymore. Yeah, it's a
Well,
safety
maybe he
hazard.
had it in his little. Maybe he has an like one of them little Bluetooth boombox things.
I bet he's got. I bet it's a distractionary device because the cartel runs freely through y'all's neighborhood down there. But they're probably FedEx little kids by now from down there.
Anyway, sometimes I am, in fact. So there was a meme that used to go around about white moms who play gangster rap when they're in between picking their kids up from events like school or practice or whatever, and
practice.
That's me. I'm that white mom who has gangster rap playing sometimes.
There you go. Make
90s gangster rap.
You supremacy.
90s and very early 2000s. Nothing before or nothing after 2005.
Word to your mother. We hear you all the way.
I can actually.
You can credit gangster rap for your political run. Well, she can't credit mariachi, that's for sure. What a weather.
Yes. Simon. It has to be a CD though.
Her hashtag
for gangster rap. It can't be a cassette. It has to be a CD.
Her hashtag was what a weather.
That was not my hashtag.
And since
someone's probably looking for that right now in the hashtag search.
Owns on stripes now. Bam.
But it can't be, Simon. I don't win. When I make it.
Now you're speaking my language.
Walter, you're like 30 seconds late. I literally just said it has to be a CD because if it's gangster rap, that was after mixtapes, so it's got to be.
I just read over here. Remember, I'm a disabled veteran. I'm 50 and I have eyeglasses on. I mean, you young kids like to just punish and pummel us folks all the time. Stop being oppressive, white supremacy person.
Oh, did you see? Oh! It was on one of those late night comedian things. He was talking about how, George Santos was doing the white supremacy thing from the House floor.
Late night spoofs. Just Google late night George Santos and you'll get it. M-I, crooked letter, P-I-M-P. That's right.
Johnny Cash included. Fair question, Simon. He should be. I'm really not a gangster thug, but if you ever, my Apple playlist is probably the most impressive of all things ever.
All I got 50s and 60s. Miss Patty, the Animals. That was one of my.
That's not true. His is weird, but not as weird as mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Sometimes I go gangster rap, not really. But you got.
You should have seen him miss.
You got to admit, whenever I throw down my Ricky Martin, people get scared. That's right.
He was trying to sing Eminem one day, Simon, and try to do a video with it, and his mouth was so far close to what the words were. It was awful. I was just like, God bless him. He's trying. He worked Fort Connor into that. It was terrible.
You want me to sing it from scratch?
Please don't. Please don't. Actually, yes, let's see this happen. No gangster noise for Miss Patty. Oh God, Simon, please no. It's gonna do it.
Actually, show my picture here, young lady. Go ahead, put up the picture I sent you this morning. Yeah, come on, show the picture.
The food picture?
Show the picture. I only sent you one picture. Sent you the picture this morning. Show me the picture. Put it on the air, girl. Do what I say. I ramen today.
Oh gosh.
Rhythm and poetry.
Rhythm. Well, there's something happening there. Hold on, I didn't have the right picture pulled up.
Come on.
I didn't have the right picture pulled up. Shut up.
Oh, Sandra.
Hold on, I gotta pull it back up.
We got 15 minutes left, girl. America is dying.
I'll find it within the next 15 minutes. I promise. I know you're creative.
Wait. I have 19 people in Moscow and 732 in China. Come on.
I'm certain. Hold on a minute. I'm looking.
Come on.
Walter, don't rush me. You know that makes me freak out.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Oh, I can't sing the rest of it because I have repurposed that song for the Bacon Master.
Oh, God bless.
Yep.
Please don't do this to me.
When I'm roasting up on your thigh.
No.
I got a saucy grin. Good Lord, man. This right
Where did the
here.
picture literally just go? I've already even showed it on the air. Where did it go?
Come on.
Oh, wait. I remember how I can find it. Hold on. Sick of these stupid games. Hold on a minute.
Folks.
There it is. I found it. See, it even says last time I had it open was at 10:05 this morning.
10:05.
8 more seconds. It's coming.
8 more seconds.
It's coming. Yes, ma'am.
Put the colors off.
Can you do what?
Put the colors off.
There we go, folks. Come on.
Hold on.
Draw it in bigger.
I don't even know why it came into the print situation.
Draw it in bigger. Come on. Come on.
Shut up. I'm trying. Hold on.
You guys want to see how I rap?
Yes, Charlotte. I would prefer it if you did not, but go right ahead. Oh, look, there it is. I found it again. Okay. Everything's getting better in the world.
There we go. There's 2 minutes of your life you can't get back, folks. And that's usually
you can't get this time back. I'm so sorry.
Technology.
You would think that this would get better after all these months, and yet here we are.
Tango,
hombre. Okay, I have it. It's coming.
Hombre.
Mommy.
Breathing hard right now.
Yes, princess.
Put the candle off.
I think you already did, so go right ahead.
Yay.
Okay, there you go. Yes, Charlotte.
There it is. Folks, that's what you got right there. That's what I like to wrap. I like to wrap that right there. Bacon and eggs.
Great job, Charlotte.
What in the world?
She wanted to blow out my candles. I'm sorry.
Why does she want to blow out your candles?
Because she likes to steal my happiness sometimes. She knows I like to blow out candles. There. Is that what you wanted everyone to see?
That's what we... there we go. Look at that. Look at that. On a slice of bacon, I got 2 eggs fried up in an onion, folks, all done in a Dutch oven. Here we have chopped steak, chopped ground beef steak. A little bit of rice, baby. Got my homemade salsa. Got my seasoned pepper up on top. That's right, folks. That's how I do it. Armadillo eggs. I love armadillo eggs. Are you kidding me? Man, I got gooey armadillo eggs. Yep.
Yes, it does go to Walter.
Yep. Hey, that's okay. Just I'll expense it out of my Sandra account.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on hashtag We the People Work to help build a Sandra account.
Yeah.
See, this is one day when you guys actually start giving, we'll have a real producer and not Sandra.
One day. Until that day.
Sometimes I think that they like that I'm the producer because they like to watch me sweat. They like to see me flounder.
Yep, she's like a flounder.
Flat? With both eyes on one side of my head?
She lays on her side when she's floundering through the water.
Yes, it is also the same account for Pookie. I'm glad that you brought that up, Simon. I need you, because
Pookie.
Walter just wanted to skip right through our commercials and not thank our sponsors or talk about the Pookie Fund. Walter,
The Pookie Fund. There we go. Now, there was the word from our sponsors.
Hold on. So Facebook, dang it, I accidentally closed it out. I was in the middle of fixing it.
Fixing what?
Facebook literally just said why it had covered us. Oh, bother. Whatever. I was going to pull up the picture of Pookie.
Wait, is it the picture of Pookie? Is that what they're covering for?
No, they were covering up and it won't let me go past it. Never mind. Never mind. I'll do it later. I was going to show them your picture. Now I'm just going to have to show it from my phone.
We added a cover to your video because it may contain. We added a cover to your video because it may contain graphic scenes of your mother. Oh, there's Pookie.
Oklahoma law a sovereign state
as
Pookie filed by Senator Nathan Dahm would amend our state constitution to clarify Oklahoma as a sovereign state and that even federal laws which violate the U.S. Constitution are null, void, and of no effect in Oklahoma. If passed by the legislature, the proposed amendment would put to a vote of the people in the next election. In a statement on Facebook, Dahm says, quote, "It's time to remind them it is the states and the people that created the U.S. government."
To your mother.
Is Oklahoma fixing to secede?
No, they're just putting it out there to create an amendable situation in case there's a want. You know, it's kind of like our legislators will not listen to us. So if the voters go to the polls and say, "Hey, this is what we want," then you know what? Dang, suck, that's what we want. Because what did almost 90% of Texas Republicans vote on? They didn't want Democrat chairs. Well, right now, Dan Patrick gave us one. So we got one failure. Let's see what Dave Phelan the wayside on that. And then who else do we have? What else did we have? That's right. The same happened in the convention of the Republican Party of Texas, where almost 90% of those people said the exact same things also. No minority party chairs like we do in D.C. The will of the people. And here's the thing. What if the Republicans actually get it right? They physically get it right. All of a sudden, they start listening to the convention, to the 9,000 people that sat in one room and said, what? They said, what? They said, John Cornyn sucks. Boo, hiss. I was there.
Yeah. I was also there. So was our live audiences, Walter.
I was a Twitter terrorist, all for John Cornham.
Well, I was a Facebook terrorist for John Cornyn. Walter, we need to mark our calendars for March 24th and the 25th. Do you know why?
Why?
The Lytle Music Festival is happening, and we've been personally invited by Simon Garcia.
Is he going to let
and
me
so
have,
all of our friends, we're going to put this on the page.
Is he going to let me have my booth of bacon there to the Lytle Music Festival?
I don't
My
know,
booth,
maybe, but it does
my
say
booth.
the admission is free, but no coolers are allowed. I don't know how. I guess we got to stuck them in our pants.
What if I bring my trailer that's got 2 coolers on it? They're feeding troughs full of nothing but homegrown Texas shenanana. That's right.
Simon wants to know if the booth is actually made of bacon. Please don't challenge him. You know he'll try.
There ain't no trying. All I got to do is wrap wood and bacon. Done in the past, and might I say, the big hit at the college campuses.
I'm done with this conversation, y'all. We've had a fantastic Monday. We'll see you tomorrow with John and Walter. Whatever you do it with all your heart. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all. Bye.